Good evening, everyone. It is now 6 o'clock on November 12th. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Sandwich Board of Appeals. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Board of Appeals is comprised of 5 regular members and 1 alternate member. The Board of Appeals can have up to 4 alternate members. Any decision of this board requires a 2/3 vote. 2/3 of 5 is 4. If only 4 members vote, the vote would have to be unanimous. If 5 members vote, 1 member could dissent. This meeting is live and streamed on Sandwich Community Television's website and on local Channel 9. The meeting is being recorded and will be available on the SCTV website at www.sandwichtv.org tomorrow. The board asks that if anyone is recording this meeting, please notify me. And I don't see Taylor here tonight. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of October 22nd?
I'll motion to approve as submitted for the October 22nd meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There is no old business, so we'll move right on to the new business. New business is number 2420, 7 Georges Rock Road, special permit for Pollard. The Sandwich Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on the application of Kristen M. Pollard, applicant and property owner, for a special permit under sections 2420, 2600C, and 4352 of the Sandwich Zoning Protective Bylaw for property located at 7 Georges Rock Road, Sandwich, Mass., Assessor's Map number 74, parcel number 52, for the purpose of raising a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling and constructing a new dwelling in the floodplain. The public hearing will be held on November 12, 2024 at Sandwich Town Hall, 130 Main Street, Sandwich, Mass. at 6 p.m. The public record information can be viewed at the Planning and Development Office. We have a couple comment letters here, or excuse me, I'll have to motion to open the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have 2 comment letters, one from Heather Gallant, from the Director of Public Health. The house would require a recorded deed restriction due to the proposed septic system being a 2-bedroom design versus the required 3-bedroom design per Title V. See below. 15.240, soil absorption systems, and 5, all soil absorption systems designed to serve single-family dwellings, including but not limited to single-family condominiums and cooperatives, shall be designed to serve a minimum of 3 bedrooms, unless a deed restriction limiting use to 2 bedrooms is granted to the local approving authority. And we have one from Brendan Brides, Building Commissioner. The proposed front setback reduction from 11.3 feet to 8 feet appears to be supported by 2600C of the zoning bylaws, which allows such a reduction based on the proximity of the adjoining lots relative to the front lot lines. In addition, an accessible ramp will be located at the front of the house and will be set back from the front lot line by what appears to be about 3 feet. Accessible ramps intended for ingress and egress from a building by individuals with a disability are not curtailed by zoning setback requirements in accordance with MGL Chapter 40A, Section 3. As such, the ramps depicted on the proposed plot plan can be installed on a by right basis. Okay. Let's see. All right, Mr. Crane, you are up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Thank you. For the record, Attorney Christopher Crane, I'm representing the applicant in this proposal. The applicant is here with me tonight here, as well as the general contractor, Rick Anderson. This is a project on 7 Georges Rock Road, which is a proposed raise and replace of a single-family dwelling. We have asked for 3 forms of relief under your bylaw. The first is the special permit under 2420, which is your standard, alterations to a pre-existing non-conforming structure. In this case, the structure is non-conforming as it is setback only 11.3 feet from the front yard, where 30 feet is required in the R1 district, and our northerly side setback is 19.1, where you require 25 side yard setbacks. So those are your nonconformities. The lot size is nonconforming, the frontage is nonconforming. So we do have a nonconforming lot as well as a nonconforming structure. So again, we are seeking relief for a special permit under 2420 because the increase of nonconformity is more than 30%. So just a point of clarification, I did talk to Leanne. In her analysis, the footprint was shown as 768 square feet, I believe. That's taken from the assessor's field card, but it doesn't take into account the garage and the breezeway that connects the garage with the house. So the actual total footprint, which is shown on the plan, if you look to the left of that plan, where it goes about the hardscape calculations, the actual footprint of the existing structure is 1,380 square feet, and we're proposing to increase that to 2,234 square feet. So I just wanted to make sure that that clarification was put in front of the board. The second form of relief that we're seeking is, as Brendan noted in his comments, 2600C, which is the footnote to section 2600, which says, on special permit from the Board of Appeals, side and front yard setbacks may be reduced to the lesser of 30% of the lot depth or the average of the setbacks of the building on the lot next to, on either side of the proposed project. In this particular case, as we've noted, the average front yard setback of the house to the north and the house to the south is 7.8 feet. We're proposing 8 feet. So we're actually going to be less than what the, or an improvement over what the average is of the two. And I think that Downcape did put those calculations on each of these plans. So you can see those. Yeah, I think on the northerly you can see the 8.1, and the southerly you can see, I think it's 11.6. So when we average those, we get the 8 average, 7.8 for what we're proposing. Again, that is within the tolerances that's allowed under the bylaw. As far as the side yard setbacks, you have 15.8 for the northerly neighbor, and we had, I think 10.4 for the southerly neighbor, 15.8 for the northerly neighbor, an average of 13. We're proposing 19.5 on the north, which is actually an improvement over what's existing, and 22.6 on the southern side. So again, we are well within the tolerances of each of the average setbacks. So, and we're not getting any closer than what's the average is. So again, feel that that is available for relief from this board. And the final one is the special permit because we're in the floodplain overlay district. So we do need relief from the board under 4350. This project has been approved by the Conservation Commission. It will be flood zone and building code compliant. So again, we think it meets the criteria for approval by this board in the flood zone, floodplain overlay district. There is going to be stormwater management, so we have dry wells or drainage, so all roof runoff will be captured on site. Again, it's approved by the Conservation Commission. We're not creating any new nonconformities. It's a two-bedroom, so and it will stay a two-bedroom. We'll comply with the Board of Health requirements as noted in their comments. I feel it's consistent with redevelopment and development in the neighborhood. So again, building code compliant, flood zone compliant. We're, well within the tolerances of the averages of all the setbacks. So overall, we think it's an improvement to what's existing and certainly can be approved by this board. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Brendan or Leanne, do you have anything additional? No. Besides your original comment? Anybody from the board have any questions?
Any proposed fill being brought to the site?
Check with Rick. Is there any fill being proposed for the site? Any fill? We're not bringing in fill.
The answer is no, but quite often, I haven't seen the board conditions there from conservation. Quite often, when we do a foundation, they'll want to fill it in up to the natural.
Right. But we're not raising the elevation of the lot with any fill.
Go ahead, Chase. No,
What is the extent of the There's some details regarding a retaining wall. There's a note pointing to a wall along the walkway. I guess plans south. In those details, it looks like there is fill. So that was my question as well, is it looks like it's
Yeah, and I defer to,
necessary, but I couldn't really tell where it was proposed or how much.
Rick, you may want to come to the microphone.
And then the same thing, I think the ramp out front, is that a earthen ramp or is that a structure?
That is shown, although we're not quite sure what we're doing yet.
Okay.
The architect proposed it as an earthen ramp. I believe the homeowner prefers not to have a wooden ramp. So, yeah, so as we are, yes, that is earthen, and so I guess would require some fill.
I just had one question. The original plans were dated 10/10. The set that we have now in our possession are 10/18. What were the changes that were made, or?
Are you referring to the site plan?
Yes.
I think
No,
those,
the elevations, I'm sorry.
they were all very minor improvements.
Okay. Anybody from the public have any questions or comments they'd like to concern?
The only one other, the roof leaching trench, is there any rhyme or reason to that location as opposed to just outside the buffer, just sliding it over to minimize the,
That all had to do with conservation,
okay.
you know, so we'd be willing to put it anywhere, but I'm pretty sure those are conservation requirements.
All right, any other questions or comments from the board? No one from the public? I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we're just going to take a minute, and Leanne's going to update us on 40 Leonard Road, special permit, number 2416, Cheryl Kroll, trustee of the 56 Leonard Road Nominee Trust, notice of appeal.
Yeah, just wanted to provide a little update. As you know, you approved a special permit for 40 Leonard Road. It has since been appealed. We let town council know and they filed an appearance on your behalf, but you may receive something in the mail just alerting you to that fact.
Okay. All right, deliberations. Why don't we get to 2420 7 George's Block Road?
Okay, procedural history. This is the application from sections 1330, 2420, 2600C, and 4350 of the zoning bylaw for property located at 7 George's Rock Road, which was filed on September 18th, 2024. After proper notice was given, the public hearing was opened on November 12th, 2024, and closed on November 12th, 2024. The application was accompanied by a plan entitled Site Plan of Number 7 George's Rock Road, Sandwich, Massachusetts, dated August 13th, 2024, revised September 3rd, 2024, and revised on September 9th, 2024. The board reviewed the application and all of the materials submitted prior to the close of the public hearing. The board received and gave due consideration to the testimony given at the public hearing. The following members attended the public hearing: Neven, Terrio, Killian, and Van Busker. Findings: the board finds that the application meets the requirements of Section 9 Mass General Law, Chapter 40A. Subject property is located within the R1 zoning district and the floodplain overlay district. The property consists of 9,233 square feet with 108.83 feet of frontage. The lot is in an AE zone with an elevation of 13 feet. The applicant wishes to raise the pre-existing non-conforming dwelling and construct a new dwelling. The proposed dwelling increases the non-conforming nature of the structure by more than 30%. The current footprint for the dwelling and attached garage is 1,380 square feet. The proposed is 2,234 square feet, increasing the non-conforming nature by 61.8%. The proposed non-conforming structure is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing non-conforming structure. The lot coverage for the The lot coverage is conforming to current standards at 24.2%. However, the lot coverage in the floodplain is considered to be 0. Section 1330 requirements. The board does not find that there are conditions peculiar to this case, but not generally true for similar permitted uses on other sites in the same district. The board finds that nuisance, hazard, or congestion will not be created. The board finds that there will not be substantial harm to the neighborhood, and the board finds that there is no derogation from the intent of the bylaw such that the district's objectives will be satisfied. Section 2600C allows a setback to be reduced by special permit. The front yard setback will be 8 feet, where 7.8 feet is the average, and the side yard setbacks will be 19.5 and 22.6 feet, where 13 feet is the average. Section 4350, Section 2 requirements. The board finds that susceptibility of the proposed facility and the contents to flood damage and the effect of such damage upon the site and surrounding property is minimal. The board finds that there is not an alternative location for the proposed use, which are not subject to flooding or erosion. The board finds that necessity to the facility of a waterfront location. The board finds that the relief requested is the minimum necessary. Is there anything, well, we can, if you want to make the finding, no, they're not proposing any fill to the site?
Sure.
I think they are, though. I think we want to, which you need a special permit for, I think we want to include that there will be fill, right?
How would we say they're not proposing any grade changes?
I guess that's it, I think they are, right?
Well,
Based
no,
on
they're
the-
just gonna fill in they're gonna fill in the foundation is what he's talking about. The only reason he might need fill is what he's
Oh, I
stating.
thought it was the ramps and the septic was where the fill was needed.
Okay, but but they weren't, but are they proposing grade changes or are they not?
My understanding is they have to be.
Okay,
to-
I didn't,
To build a retaining wall with the septic, which so long as if conservation's reviewed it, and I'm not saying it's a problem, I think we should just give them for the record, the approval to fill at where shown per plan, you know? I mean, that's,
is that your understanding of it, Brendan? Is that your understanding of what will be done with regarding fill and grading? Any changes?
it looks like the septic, where the wall is, it's like making a, again,
The septic may be an elevated system. Maybe Rick could answer that.
Yeah, we really shouldn't be taking any more testimony from the
Right.
applicant.
Sorry. Yeah, so I mean, if that's what's required, I wouldn't see it being a problem. I mean, it's a slight retention, but it doesn't appear to be very much based on the topography presented.
I'm for it. I just feel like we should, if we say there's no grade changes, I think that might be limiting when in fact I think it.
These are only findings, they're not
Okay.
conditions.
Yeah, I just. Minimal,
But if the
minimal
applicant-
amount of fill for.
The applicant is not proposing any significant grade changes?
Sure. Or, yeah, minimal fill necessary to satisfy septic design requirements, something along those lines.
We don't need to get that specific, do we?
No.
That's what it's for, but, yeah.
Just that the applicant's not proposing significant grade changes.
Leave it at that.
Any additional findings?
I don't have any.
We covered all the setbacks, the footprint. Okay, I'll move the findings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the conditions. At the public hearing, the Board of Appeals considered potential conditions of approval for the special permit. The Board of Appeals voted that the following conditions of approval shall be imposed upon any approval of a special permit, and that these conditions are reasonable, and that the applicant and its successor in interest shall be bound by the conditions. Failure to comply with all the conditions set forth in this decision shall terminate the grant of the special permit. Pursuant to the requirements of Sandwich Protective Zoning Bylaw, Section 1330, the grant of the special permit shall expire upon transfer of ownership prior to initiation of substantial construction on or occupancy of the site unless such transfer is authorized in this permit, or if no substantial construction or occupancy takes place within 3 years of a special permit approval, excluding such time required to pursue or await a determination of an appeal referred to in Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 17. The special permit shall not take effect until it's recorded at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds, and a copy of the recorded special permit is provided to the Board of Appeals. Erosion controls must be in place prior to construction and maintained throughout. Anything further?
Nope.
I will move the conditions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. After the reviewing the application, the plan and other materials submitted, and after giving due consideration to testimony given at the public hearing, the board hereby approves the special permit application for property located at 7 Georges Rock Road as shown in Assessor's Map 74, Parcel 52, for the purpose of demolishing and reconstructing a non-conforming structure. I will move to approve the special permit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're very welcome.
Good luck.
All right, we don't have any other matters reasonably anticipated, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No problem. Have a nice night. Good luck.